pie is done. Pie's done, pie's done, done. Rubber band man. Rubber band human. Rubber man human. Come on, baby. Raise yourself for the rubber man. Humans, you better prepare yourself for the rubber man. Humans, it is a trap. It is a trap. Turn back, it's a trap. Turn back, it's a trap. Turn back, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. False flag trap. Right, trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. We done seen it before, many times. Oh, forget yourself. All right, I'm done. Prepare yourself for the rubber band humans. All right. Woo! Good morning, people. Oh my goodness, do we got things going on? Rubber band human. Hit the save on that. Bring YouTube in, and we shall get to going. Get to going. Woo! What is transpiring? We can't seem to get away from Minnesota. Well, listen. It is what it is, people. It is what it is. And finally, information is coming out where you just keep calm and focus on what you got to do. Sometimes you don't need to act, you just need to be vigilant. Vigilant. That doesn't rhyme with sometimes you don't need to act, you just need to be vigilant. I can't get rid of that N. It's not gonna make, you know what, if this is a post I could, because I don't, once again, care about your King's English. I speak how I want to. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? I was about to go to sleep last night. Hang on. And sister, who woke me up? I got woken up. I think it was Sister Judith. Somebody woke me up. She live out there in Minneapolis, where the fires are going off. I was trying to go to sleep, but she gave me a post, and it was like 2, 3, 4, 5 pair. It was half a book. She gave me half a book of a post, and I had no other choice but to read it. She was highly concerned. Gerard, it's a trap. Basically, is what her text had said, her post, and it was, and so I had to get up and start looking at some information and proceed to give you some quick. I don't know why people trust me. First of all, let me ask that. I don't know why y'all trust me, but I guess maybe I'm encoded with the right melanin to say certain things, and so they come to Gerard, say something. It's like people, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's always a trap. It's always a trap. That's how I know it's a trap. It's always a trap. It's always going to be a trap. If it's on all the mainstream media, it's a trap. If it's Judy Miscavige, if it's Real Scientist, if it's Del Bigtree, it's censored, right? If it's Bill Gates, it's all over. If it's on the mainstream media, on every damn channel, and it's got your emotion tweaked, that's how you know not to do anything. Now I'm talking about the trap. A lot of good evidence coming out about the trap. And people like to use the word FF, because I think if you use the word, maybe it'll trap in the audio. Everything is a FF. When you got a mainstream media and the billionaires own all of it, everything is a FF. If you know what I'm talking about. Everything is used for a FF. Does it mean that nobody died, everybody died? No, it means that they're building something. They're going to make a whole bunch of people die in the future. Process your activity, process your energy. Ooh. My goodness, I keep forgetting his name. I don't know. There's one guy and his name never stays in my mind. It never stays in my mind. And I've been talking about him for like the past 3 days, which, maybe I need to eat some ginkgo biloba or something. I'm growing some. I got some ginkgo growing. And some other stuff that I don't even know what the hell it is, but I planted it years ago, but it looked interesting, and I know it's going to be delicious because I've been growing for 5 damn years, carrying the pot in and out the house, in and out the house, in and out the house every spring and fall. So I know it's going to be delicious. But Fred Hampton, there you go. Fred Hampton, that's who I want to talk about. Fred Hampton had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful quote that I need you young people to go and give to all your ignorant leaders. Fred Hampton had a wonderful quote. Remember this, the Matrix has no issue with you. They don't send no agents for you until you actually figure out the Matrix. That's when they take you out. If you were popular, you're not saying anything that's going to change anything. You're a part of the system. Fred Hampton had a quote that brother, I think Emilio, posted one of his speeches. First of all, he was the Black Panther from Chicago, who finally realized in the end that being a Black Panther wasn't going to change anything. So he reached out to the Klan, reached out to the white supremacists and said, hey, we got the same enemy in common. And that's when they killed him. Why? Well, because of powerful, powerful things like he said in this one speech. He said, had to do with the quote, fire and water. I know one of y'all know what I'm talking about. He said, you don't put out fire with fire. Think of hate as fire. Think of racism as fire. Think of anything that you don't like, any dark vibe, deep negative energy that usually comes from bigotry and poverty and being raised that way because the government wants you to be that way because they make you artificially scarce and they do it to the other people. He said you can't put out fire with fire. Have you ever seen a fireman fighting fire with fire? Have you? Please post a picture, give me the link, show me the science. If you've ever seen a fireman, somebody who actually wants to put out racism, putting out racism with fire. You don't do it with fire. Now they're burning down Minneapolis, and that's why my friend was highly concerned. So I figured I'd had to take a little look at that. You put out fire with water. And here's a scientific experiment for you. Here's an experiment. And this is where the rubber man human comes from. Rubber band, band. Do not be a rubber band for banks. Do not do it. You're going to die in the future, and the kids going to die if they're not going to be slaves. Don't have the repetitiveness of a rubber band. Don't be dependable. If you know that somebody's oppressing you, central banks, or you think it's the Republicans or the Democrats, doesn't really matter. If somebody's oppressing you, do not be a rubber band. Never repeat the same activity over and over and over and over and over and over again, because then to them, you aren't even a slave. Brother Dave said that this morning. He said, yeah, well, people are responding like the slaves. They're doing exactly what the system wants them to. It's like, yeah, but you know what? A slave can be ornery. Slave can change his mind. Rubber band don't change his mind. You're acting more like a machine. All they got to do is press that button and get the same activity. Like, protest, protest, protest. And you know what they do during all the protests? You know what they always do. All you got to do is pay attention. They always, the racist guy that y'all don't like, Alex Jones, who ain't racist, because I've been watching the guy since the beginning of Eden. He's just a shock jock, like Howard Stern. He was the one who told you about agent provocateurs. Do you know what agent provocateur is? If not, look it up. They always use agent provocateurs because they always have a plan. Remember, everything is an FF. They're going to use everything that they can. They're going to use everything they can to deploy anything that they can to get what they want, which is usually profit and corporations and power and government. So yes, they hadn't caught the agent provocateur. They posted the video. I thought they were taking the video down. I wasn't really sure, which is why I saved it. You got to save every post and every video from here on out. Why? Yes, I am chastising. I'm saying, well, I'm not chastising. I'm saying I'm not protesting. I'm not protesting because I don't think that's going to change anything. I think that's going to hold up the system doing the same thing that they want you to do, to roll out more draconian laws. And there's some militarized defense company, police state company that got some sort of product that they want to sell, just like in Las Vegas. And right after this, they're going to write a law and it's going to mandate that thing, whatever that thing, whether it's some drones, heat mapping, testing, contact tracing, whatever it is, they're going to mandate it. All right. Everything they do is scripted. Everything they do is to play you. Do not be a rubber band man. Rubber band man. Spinners. Well, listen to that song, damn it. Listen to the song. It'll teach you something. Listen to the song. They always got a plan. They always got a plan. The art of war. Let's go back to the art of war. Never be where your enemy expects you to be. Never. If you did it last time, don't do it this time. Otherwise, it's a guaranteed trap. All right, now set the stage up that way. I got to show you something. Because all the protests have always been met with some sort of a person to stir up trouble for various reasons. It's not always for the state. Sometimes it's for them. They're just people who like drama. Sometimes you got psychopaths in all communities, and they will always do what they want to do in instances where they think they can thrive. And where the psychopath thrives and those warrior genes turned on, the 27 warrior genes, they thrive in times of chaos and destabilization. So expect people to throw trash cans through windows and burn down cars while you're just there to take pictures, hand out pizza, and protest. Alex Jones was his name. He told you what agent provocateurs are. Go look it up. He was the one who proved it, but going back before him in the civil rights movement, of course they had CIA and FBI in the protest. Why? Because they could take the protest and turn it into what they want, which is violence. This is why Obama gave them all this equipment. Okay? This is why Trump also signed to give them. He limited some of the equipment, but he didn't stop it. And this is why I don't do any sides in any of it. Why? Because would your government take weapons of war that they use against the terrorists that you're scared of to turn around the most violent people on the planet, supposedly, not poor farmers who just want America out their country? Well, it's not America, because America ain't in their country. It's called the United States Incorporated. The most violent people in the world. They take that equipment, turn around, and give it to your police departments to use against you. What does that tell you? I'm more of a law guy, first of all, and so before I get down into talking too deeply, I like to look at the laws and I like to determine what are they really up to? What is really going on? Because it's not going to be on the TV. If you still trust the TV, I really don't know what to tell you. And I saw Mariette post a video, the protesters out there, and they all still got the flu masks on, and I just... Oh, Lord have mercy. If you are protesting the police state and you don't know the difference between the flu state and the police state and that they are backed by the same power plays and people, you need to do a whole lot more reading before you get out in that street. So a lot of things to talk about. One, contact tracing. Did anybody get a pop-up this morning? I think it was last night, yesterday. I got a pop-up yesterday for a switch in my operating system on Droid. Did anyone get that pop-up also? Why? Because you know the contact tracing app that you will have to, configuration that you have to manually opt out of is going to be a operating system upgrade. All right. So I find it interesting that came out during the riots. Why? Because, well, if you're at the protest in the riot and you got contact tracing on, then guess what it means? If it's 30,000 people at the protest, guess what that means? That's what I'm saying. The medical police state and the police state, the one that you're fighting, they ain't no different. They're all the same. They use the same information. They go to the same bagels, shops, get the same donuts. They all work together and they all don't believe you have any rights. All right. That's what they all believe. So there are a lot of things. I got to take you to the videos, but the first thing I want to show you is the first kind of traps or these kind of traps. Like, you know why protesting is illegal-ish right now? It's because the earlier protests, they decided that we can't let the people do this. They're like this, no, they think that this is their country. They don't read the laws. We ain't know. Can't let these people go anywhere they want in our country. We are bankers. We own this damn country. You can't just go anywhere you want and set up shop, yell, scream, act a fool. Hell no. So what they do is they start putting these agent provocateurs, setting up traps where you're out there peacefully protesting. You're singing spiritual and hymnals and we shall overcome and whatever. And they turn into a violent protest. And right after the protest, they write a law, which limits where you can protest. And there's another thing that Clinton and Bush and Obama and Trump and they're all still on, limiting your voice. Why? Because who limits your voice? An abuser, right? Go back to an abusive relationship. The first thing you have to do is silence the person you're abusing. You have to start to censor them, okay? This is how they've always behaved. And so this is why protesting isn't 100% legal in this country anymore, even though it is 100% your constitutional right. It's because after the protest, they write laws to limit your protest. So that's why they want you protesting. Remember the saying we used to say that everything that gets big gets co-opted, whether it be your Julian Assange or WikiLeaks or Noam Chomsky or Martin Luther King, like whatever you want, whatever it is, if it gets big and is popularly held, is blindly followed, it's co-opted. Civil rights movement, women's rights movement, no matter what it is, it always gets co-opted. Anytime this protest thing gets big, they'll always use it for them. We got to get good at using what they do against them, you know. But now that I've said that, to say that's why I'm not interested in protesting, because I see what they're used for. I'm not telling people not to protest. I'm telling you it's a trap. But everybody everyone's got a different mission in this little experience here on ignorant earth. All right. And some people are led to go do that. The only reason we're even talking about it right now is because people are out there protesting. So if you feel that pull and tug on your heart to go out there, then you go out there. But I'm telling you it's a trap. And I'm telling you what's going to happen afterwards. You're going to protest the police and you're going to have a worse police state on the other end. All right. But if you feel that you have to do that, you do that. Now, what is our job, those of us who are still in sync with this oneness, it's not to fight with the protesters in social media. That's a mistake. You don't want to do that. Understand that usually if you start to see how the matrix works, it probably means you're a little older. All right. And these are kids that are out there protesting. These are, well, I'll say kids, wrong word, young people. They're young people out there protesting. They're not as old as us. They're a lot younger than 29, right? They're a lot younger than us. They hadn't been here long enough. Me, I see scams everywhere. I've been an American under domination of the United States Incorporated my entire damn life. And to me, everything is a FF, everything is a play, everything is a skit, everything is media skits to get behavior out of me. It is your job, if you're sitting at home, to protect those protesters. That's what we got to do. I'm glad, though, that now some of them are filming the agent provocateurs. Did y'all see that? All right. That's what I'm saying is that, first of all, we're all cousins. We're all related. We're all Moors. We all came from the same land. And one day somebody's slave master, king, whatever, decided to give everybody a hue. That's what I'm saying. Don't be a rubber band hue man. Everybody's a Moor, all these kids, all these young people, you are responsible, and so am I. Why? Not that we're smarter, not that we're more intelligent, but we've been here longer. So I'm not chastising the protesters. I'm just letting them know that it is a trap and it's going to be used to create more problems in the future. And what I'm glad is that there are people who are protesting who are smart enough to film the guy who busted the windows. Did y'all see that? Did you see that? Let me see if I can find it for you. I'm not sure if it's disappearing off the internet. I thought it was, but I think the brother gave a bad link, so I don't think they're deleting it. Usually when you have footage that implicates the state in causing problems that will benefit the state, or police causing problems that will benefit police, they delete those videos. So it's one of your jobs, if you're sitting at home or you're not in Minneapolis or you're on lockdown scared of the flu, I can't help you with that, is you need to be saving these videos. You need to be saving the post. There actually was a post where someone said that they followed this man. Let me show it to you first. That they followed him all the way back to the precinct. All right. We know that this happens, right? They're trying to get a lot of people killed. They're trying to roll out laws. They don't care nothing about these buildings. They don't care about nothing about anybody's human life. And there are other things we got to talk about too. As I find this video, I find it highly interesting. Highly interesting. Here it goes right here. Highly interesting that those two men work together. Did you see that? All right, let me pause this right here. First, I want to show you the video. If you just woke up, people are like, what the hell is he talking about? I ain't seen nothing yet. A lot happens in a short period of time, y'all. This is the end of the world. Well, it's the end of society as we know it. And so a lot of things are happening fast. You're going to have to try to keep up. But here go the video right here. Thank goodness someone had if you are out there protesting, if that's the tug on your heart, you feel that that is your position in this thing right now, and you get us a trap and you don't care, you feel that's the right thing to do, please take your camera and film everybody at all times, best that you can. Pan around, look at this. I'm gonna turn the music off. I walks over with a hammer, starts busting windows at the AutoZone. He's approached by protesters to stop. He bangs out the last window, realizes that a couple of them are coming, turns around and walks away.
I'll zoom out a little bit. Those cops will come for you if you're pulling that crap.
Wearing all black in a black umbrella, as if he knows there are cameras watching. Tries to walk away quietly, they chase him down. See, this is what protesters look like. Not that I agree with the slave name on the back of his shirt, but he's a young guy. Young people don't really know they're carrying on the legacy of slave masters and owners keeping colors, but that's another discussion. That's what protesters look like. They got pink shirts and yellow shirts with little sayings on the back. Government, help us, stop killing us. We love you. You supposed to love us. Stuff like that that they don't give two damns about. And he got pizza in his hand. Why? Because he's there to feed people and he's there with a message. The guy who just busted the windows, he's wearing all black. He looks like almost military grade boots. And he knows where the cameras are. And he has a mask, which people say is actually something that's handed out to the Minneapolis police force.
This guy just came with a hammer and smashed the windows.
I'm gonna fight you right now.
You wanna go? What's up?
See that now, if you heard what he said, if you gotta listen closely, he said, get away from me or I'm gonna fight you right now. All right, think about fight you right now. Think about that. Who says that? Who uses that word? Who uses those words? All right, there are times where, you know, I say how I have different voices. If I'm in the hood, I talk one way. If I'm in corporate America, I talk another way. If I'm in some sort of business meeting, I'm here, I talk, flips around. He spoke like someone you would not expect to be protesting, right? And this is why people are posting his picture and they're saying he actually is a police officer and they know exactly who he is. But this is the difference between a protester and somebody out there looking to make harm. It looked exactly the same way in the Alex Jones video for the agent provocateur for the End the Fed rally. It was the first time they proved that they hire people, they get people out there to do this.
Somebody hold my blunt. Hey, somebody hold my.
He said, get away from me or we can fight right now, basically. And the guy said, hold my blunt. If you listen to him, that's a protester. I know that's a protester. I know it's a protester because that's what they do. And said, hold my blunt, hold my blunt. And so while he's getting ready to go with the guy, he goes after the camera because he didn't want to be filmed, and he walks away again. He wasn't serious. He was trying to scare him. And this is where the cameraman failed. He didn't follow him. There is nothing important that's happening in the protest than what's happening right there. Cameraman walks after him a little bit, but then he stops. Or she. The most important thing in the protest is the evidence showing what started it, right? What started the violent portions of it. Now, I don't think in this one, hang on, let me go back. I don't know if in this one, if it showed what happened after they busted the window. Nah, this one didn't show it. So there's another video and it shows after he busted the window, people going in the store. Right? Why would that happen? Well, because once the window's open, I mean, these guys know what they're doing, right? It's like the whole rat to cheese. Once you open up the AutoZone, once you break out the Best Buy, the people who are out there protesting, there's some people that have been on lockdown for 2 weeks. People ain't worked for a long time. They know what's going to happen is the mob is going to funnel in. And of course, the other police are going to show out. That's why I'm saying it's a trap. Even before we saw this, we knew that this was a trap. This is what they always do. And the good thing, it seems that protesters are starting to figure that out. But they should have followed him back, and they didn't follow him back. That was the greatest fail. Why? Because we need pictures and we need videos of people who are doing things like this and going back to the precinct. If that's what he did, I was speculating. So these things are important, but this is a trap. But if you're going to be where the enemy expects you to be, please don't do what the enemy expects you to do. You got to be peaceful, and anybody is causing any rebel rousing, you got to turn on them. That's what you got to do. There's a couple other things. I'm going to try to go through comments as we do this. There was another video. No, I want to show you this. See, and this is where I want to go with this. They're constantly coming up with means of trapping us. Has anybody got any mice problems here? Y'all got any mice problems? Well, the bank's got a mice problem. And I got this picture of this mouse trap right here. And this is not the mouse trap I need you to see. This is the mouse trap I need you to see. See, these things are evolved over time. It's technology, right? This was a very old technology. This is a newer one, right? They need to catch as many mice as possible. Have y'all seen this? This is the farmer's mouse trap, where they just get a bucket and they put a swivel on the top. And every time the mice steps in, you go and see there were already 5 or 6 mice in there. This is what they're doing right now. They know that you're going to protest. They know you're going to get upset. So they put it on all the media so they can catch as many mice as possible. All right. This is what you need to be worried about. They don't use little mice traps like this now. Now they got digital technology with the phones and software and cameras. I'll post this video. It's a great thing if you got any mice problem. But they're always evolving the police state. Right? Biggest problem I have when I question a lot of this stuff is I always look at my own mirror and I question my own participation in the problems that we are having all over the world, especially in America. And when I do that, you know, I'm a voter. I've voted before. I'm not a voter now, but I used to be. And I don't vote now because I disagree with the idea of the police state. I disagree with the idea. And decades ago, they started building out this police state. So right now, if you're out there protesting and you got a problem with the police state, you think the police have gone too far, you need to think about your complicit in giving consent to a system, voting for 2 parties that have been doing nothing but bolstering up the police state, making sure no lives matter. You need to question that. And the other thing is this idea of training. So I was looking at the protests, looking at some of the signs, and once again, I used to set up protests, and my problem is we don't have a very clear message of what we want to happen. So we're wasting time, and we're getting people killed. Because now you already had the first person who died in the protest. And there might have been more than one. I'm not really following. First of all, 2 videos ago, said Black lives don't matter, and they don't matter. Why? Because white lives don't matter. Why? Because Asian lives don't matter. Why? Because Hispanic lives don't matter. Why? Because you don't have a government. You have a corporation that's organized to look like a government. The politicians are only staff. They're doing what they're told. They're writing the laws that bring profit to the corporation. Unfortunately, most of those laws are going to get you killed and get you in trouble. This idea that the police need training, it needs to go away. It needs to go away. This is why I'm passively just talking about this stuff. Why? Because the police don't need training. The police did their job. There was nothing wrong with the police. The police aren't broken. This is what they're supposed to do. This is the design of artificially scarcity, using artificial scarcity to starve people to be in conflict with the state and corporations that they write the laws for. And then the police get laws that are all mostly unconstitutional. And then you expect to give the police constitutional training to deploy unconstitutional laws. Does that make sense in your brain? That should sound like a tongue twister. And I asked that question. I'll look and see if I got any answers to it. But why would you expect police to constitutionally protect your rights if they're rolling out unconstitutional laws? Besides the fact of why they went after the man, they went after the man for check fraud. Do you know what fractional reserve banking is? Check fraud. Your entire Federal Reserve does it. They do it on a regular basis. Your entire government breaks the very principle of the law that they went after this man for, and turns out he didn't even do it. Or he was the wrong guy, somebody said. Right? These are things that you have to look up and you need to think about. Why would you go after a government and protest the police, the lowest people on the totem pole, to do what they do on a daily damn basis? They don't care. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about your protest. They're just using you. All right. This is what I'm trying to say. I try to share as much knowledge as I can, and hopefully you're picking up something that I haven't said before. But usually it's the same thing. If you got a problem with the police state, you got a problem with the politicians. All right, you don't have a problem with the police. The police are the lowest man on the totem pole. Does anybody watch movies? You ever find it odd that in the movies, when bad things happen and the cabal and the mafia and the gang do bad things, in the movies they never go find the weakest, little, lowest person on the totem pole to go get their revenge on? They never do that, do they? They never do it. When the mob does something because the bosses order something, they write some legislation, laws, order a hit, do something, and somebody in your family gets caught up in it, do they go get Vinny the Nose and get him and, yeah, Vinny the Nose did it? No, they don't. Vinny's a warrior. He's just hired. He's got kids at home. He's just trying to make some money. He might have did it, but he didn't call the shots. You can take out Vinny the nose, they gonna get Vinny the arm. You can take out Vinny the arm, they gonna get Vinny the toe. You can take out Vinny the toe, they gonna get Vinny the ear. And why they all have Italian names, I don't know. That's just how it breaks down. But the point is that you're literally taking out a component, the police, who have nothing to do with the conversation. They're deploying orders you don't like, but you're cheering and supporting the people who are giving them the orders. The problem isn't police, the problem is policing. And until you figure that out, all you're going to do is back the police state and getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Because after every damn protest, they do the same thing. They write more laws to increase the police state. And why I focus on laws is from the principal perspective of, well, if you got a mass industrial, mass incarceration, industrial complex slavery thing that people don't like, that you're writing laws, and you're writing laws so bad that the people don't like, for the people who you're supposed to be for by the people, and they're breaking the laws, maybe you shouldn't write those laws. Maybe the people don't want those laws, right? So the thing is, if you have a mass imprisoning complex because people are breaking the laws, it's because you're writing the laws and it ain't for the people. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely right, Pat, and that's my point. More laws means less freedom. Every law they write usually is making an industry for some corporation, taking your rights. And so by getting out in the street, doing exactly what the enemy wants you to do, which is to show your violent side, all they're going to do is write more laws because you showed your violent side. And they're going to take more rights. And so this is this cascading collapse that we've been on, going down into hell, taking more and more rights from people because you can't stop and think about the art of war. Think. Now's not a time to act. It's a time to be vigilant, which is not a word, but I just made it up, so I'm fine with that. I got to show you another video here. I got to show you a news report. Hang on a second. Where is this at? This boggled my mind. It's a couple of them. Well, one thing here. Well, here's another one. Hold on. This is a different one. These are the things. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing about this makes any damn sense. Hey, watch that. We don't do angry faces here. We do thumbs up and other stuff, but not the angry face, because then that brings the trolls, and I can deal with the trolls. I just don't really have time. When you want to have a discussion, usually you don't want people making noise. You want people who are open-minded, critically thinking, adding something to the discussion. And the way the algorithm works, when you do an angry face, then it brings other people that have no interest in conversation for whatever reason. Maybe it triggers AI learning software. Me, I'm trying to solve problems, and this is why I don't blame the police. My interest is solving problems. So check this out. This was someone, they had a protest at his at the cop that killed him at his house. They went, a couple dozen people went over to his house, and they went and they talked to his neighbors, and guess what his neighbors said? You'll find this interesting if you haven't seen it. I'll post the link. I'll post all the videos. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I just want to show you this neighbor right here.
You know what? We didn't.
We didn't know he was a cop. Friends? I'm from the Daily Mail. Were they friends?
I didn't know he was a cop.
Oh, we were just talking about it this morning.
No,
Well, this afternoon.
What do you guys think about what happened?
It's terrible.
You guys don't agree with him? Oh, God.
No,
It's terrible.
who would agree with that?
I didn't know he was a cop. Bothers me. It bothers me. It bothers me. I tell you why it bothers me that they didn't know that Derek Chavez was a cop. You ever live next to a cop? You ever have a cop in your neighborhood and you didn't know he was a cop? I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory there. I'm just saying this don't smell like cheese. This smell like something funky. You going in the trap and you think you going for cheese and something ain't smelling right. I never heard of that. Every neighborhood I've lived in, they have police live there. They park the car. You see them in the uniform. They introduce themselves. They're proud of that. And all of a sudden, you got his neighbors saying, we didn't know he was a cop. We didn't even know. We were just talking about it this morning. He been living here. We didn't know he was a cop. The only scenario that makes sense to me, if that doesn't feed your need to try to figure out what the hell is going on, is if he just moved in yesterday. If he just moved in yesterday, it makes sense. If he's been living there for more than a week, and you haven't seen that squad car, you haven't seen him on the lunch break coming in trying to get some on the lunch break with some donuts or some coffee, and you don't see he's not going around joining neighborhood watch, something is wrong with this picture. That's the first thing I want to show you. Something else I want to show you. I'll post a link. You can watch the whole thing. This gentleman who did the video interviewed. I make sure I want to give everybody credit for what they're doing. There are some people who are showing up to the trap, but they're doing some things to try to help us out. I've never lived in a neighborhood with a cop and never knew that the cop wasn't there. Every cop I've lived by, and I know that sounds crazy, but every time I've lived in a neighborhood, I always knew the person was a police officer. One, because I knew my neighbors. Two, they like to introduce themselves. They don't like to stay quiet about it. They want a safe neighborhood where they live. And you know who they are. One other thing I want to show you is right here. Here's the other thing, make no damn, it doesn't make any, and once again, this doesn't mean that the mainstream media story isn't true. It just means that something doesn't smell right. Let me show you this right here. This was a news report. There's other weird things about that is there were some news report, and it's the news. I don't know what the hell to trust. It's the news, billionaires news. They lie all the damn time. Where they said he's been an officer for a long time, this Derek Chavez guy, and he was involved in some other shooting of someone going way back. But this is the other thing that don't smell right. And sometimes you just gotta just take a couple sniffs, and it's like, you know what? I don't really know what's going on, but what they're promoting isn't really what's going on. Is going on. All right, check this out.
She says she does not know if Derek Chauvin and George Floyd ever actually spoke to each other. The first time she saw this video, Maya Santamaria says it took her a moment to make the connection.
Because my friend sent me and said, this is your guy, the guy who used to work for you. And I could say, it's not him. And then they did the close-up. And that's when I said, oh my God, that's him.
She says now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin worked security for her at El Nuevo Rodeo for 17 years before she sold the club just months ago.
He sometimes had a real short fuse, and he seemed afraid. When there was an altercation, he always resorted to pulling out his mace and pepper spraying everybody right away, even when I felt it was unwarranted.
Even more surreal, Santamaria says, is that George Floyd, the man pinned under Chauvin's knee on Monday night, worked for her too.
I did.
Worked for her also. So what she confirmed, if you didn't see it, she said both men used to work for her. What does that mean? That means they knew each other. One worked outside, one worked inside, but they knew each other. All right, that alone should tell you there's a lot more going on here than what we even know. If we got anybody in the FB or I, Homeland Security, CIA, any of these acronym agencies, and you think that you still work for us, you know you got work to do. Why? Because people gonna die in these stupid protests. They're gonna write some ignorant laws afterwards, and none of this smells right. None of it smells right. They knew each other. Okay, I'm gonna let her finish going.
Didn't recognize George as one of our security guards because he looked really different lying there like that. And it wasn't until I saw the pictures of him come up, then it snapped, and one of my employees said, look, Maya, he worked for us.
Both men who worked security for the same club before their final encounter that left one dead and the other at the center of national outrage. But Santamaria says she does not know if they ever really knew each other.
They were working together at the same time. It's just that Chauvin worked outside and the security guards were inside. I thought to myself, what if he could have just said, hey man, you and I worked together at Maya's place. Now I'm like, remember me?
Santamaria says George Floyd had been working security at her club for about a year. On some of their busiest nights, she said he might have been among 20 or 30 people she would bring in for security, in addition to off-duty police such as Chauvin. We've reached out to Chauvin's attorney and the Minneapolis Police Department about this development, but at this point, we're still waiting to hear back from both of them. Both men who
So
were
this, and here's my point on this one. So I don't really get into the whole false flag, who died, if someone died, whatever. I leave it alone. I leave it alone. Why? Because I don't ever want to put my energy into claiming something that I don't know to be true or not true when someone died. I don't go there. I have friends that go there. I don't go there. Why? Because empathy. I have no idea. You know, is it possible? Because there are a lot of scenarios if you really think about it. Is it possible these two men, or is it possible he didn't even recognize him? That's a possibility. Highly unlikely. Highly implausible. Minneapolis is not that big. Doesn't sound like it to me. Well, actually, I have been there because they a long time ago. But if the community, I would imagine, of law enforcement and security probably isn't that big. It's like Philly and Washington, D.C. area. Mostly Philly, I'll say that. I've worked around here as an IT person for a long time. I know an awful lot of people, and they know an awful lot of people, and they're a very small community in IT. If I know you or where you worked at, I usually know somebody you know that no. So odds are he recognized him. Could they have had a conflict from when they worked together? It's possible. And it's also possible they work together now. They work together. It's possible they're working together on a project now. I really don't go there. I just say it doesn't smell right. It's not passing the smell test. You know, is it possible that he's in Bermuda? That's possible. It's more than likely he's probably dead. It's more than likely because, you know, if you think about these patsies and how false flags like really work with like, what was his name? Who was the guy they lied and said killed JFK? And once again, who was the man that they lied and so killed Martin Luther King? We got a long, great history of lying about this nonsense. And the patsy could end up dead. Well, you know, the patsy ended up in jail in one situation, and the patsy with JFK ended up dead. All right? So it doesn't mean that somebody didn't die, and it doesn't mean it wasn't a horrible death. It means that this whole thing smells really, really horribly bad. It smells too bad for me to take a position on anything. It damn sure smells too bad for me to be out there protesting. That's why I told y'all it's a trap. I didn't know any of this yesterday when I told you that, or last night. I didn't see any of that. I saw all of this stuff this morning. Is what people posted on that comment I made. The thing is that we never really know what's going on. What we do know is we're always being handled. Everything is about control. Everything is about power and money. And they use people because people are emotional, right? Y'all saw me the day before yesterday when I first saw that video. Man, it jacked me up. You know me, I run my mouth for 2 hours. Damn it, we go up to 10 if we need to. Having discussions and what the hell is happening on this planet. But it bothers you because it was a very graphic video. Another thing somebody said is I find it interesting that he said the same thing, I can't breathe. And that's what the brother said in New York. And she said, you know, it's PSYOP, that word psychological trigger, right? It's triggering certain keywords and phrases. You know how we talk about how that word COVID, it triggers people into fear, and now they're scared of each other because they're on lockdown. They use these things to trigger you. And I'm sure I got triggered. This is what I'm saying. We all get played. And this is why it's the only way we can escape out of it is we always have to interact with a lot of people who think differently from different communities, who have different exposure. And this is the benefit of live streaming, right? This is the benefit of coming together and being social with people you normally wouldn't be social with in your local area, is you start to put these things together. And it made a lot of sense. And maybe that's what triggered me, you know. But outside of the fact of whether it is a 100% false flag or a 0.02% false flag, right? Because even at 0.20%, they always use disaster cap. Like they always take bad things and they capitalize on them. They write laws to increase the police. So they always use it against us. But outside of that, whether no matter where you are on that spectrum, 100% down to 0.1%. Hopefully you're not at 0%. It means you watch too much damn TV. Turn the TV off, go outside until I tell you to come back in. Just going outside, just get fresh air, vitamin D3, just get on out there. But leave your phone inside and just stay out there until I tell you to come back in. You'll be good to go. Get you outside, get some air in your lungs. No matter what you believe on the spectrum, wherever you fall, it actually doesn't matter. What we got to do hasn't changed. What we have to do is completely indifferent to what you think on this. It's the same thing with the aliens and the UFOs. Like I tell people, it doesn't matter whether you think it's Space Force or it's aliens. That's free energy. That needs to be with the people, right? The people are in slavery due to energy. So it doesn't really matter. Like, it's academic where it lands on the spectrum. And to be honest with you, I think the real powerful people, I mean the people who make the real decisions, the people who call the real shots, the people who, they don't write notes. I don't think they make memos. I don't think they're the ones who write the laws. What they do, you will never find out. There are layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of protection where you will never get down to who actually did what with who, why, when, and where. They always cover themselves up. Same way that George could have thought he was being a part of something and things didn't go the way that he thought they would go because they were using us for something else. Do you see what I'm saying? We never have any idea of what's going on. It's like Genghis Khan, right? Did they find his tomb? No. Why didn't they find his tomb? They think they might know where it is. Here it is damn near what, almost a couple 100,000 years later, whatever it is. Because they covered up the cover up the cover up. When they buried Genghis Khan, what did he do? He said, well, y'all bury me and don't tell nobody where y'all buried me. And so they buried him. And when they was leaving where they buried him, a band of people he hired said, I need y'all to kill the people who buried me so nobody knows where I'm buried. And so those people killed the people who buried them, and the people who killed the people who they buried them didn't really know where they buried them, but they knew the region. And what did Genghis Khan do? One more layer. He hired people to kill the people who killed the people who knew where his tomb was. And I think those people live. So nobody knows where he lived. Nobody knows where he's buried. There's always layers on layers upon layers upon layers of cover up, but it doesn't change what we got to do, which is an open source world. No secrets, no police state, human sovereignty, all the things we talk about, resource-based economy. If you got a problem with police shooting black people, white people, ranchers, the immigrants, whatever you got a problem with, then you got a problem with secrecy. You got a problem with a secret military. You got a problem with politicians that write laws that are always unconstitutional, almost all of them. You will never get constitutional policing when the laws are unconstitutional. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The police are never going to respect your rights. Not wholesale, not in terms of policing wholesale, if the laws are written to take your rights. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you're upset with something, you like, avoid your emotions. You know that saying, like when husbands and boyfriends and girlfriends, they get to fighting, what they tell you to do, the first thing you do is do nothing. That's the first thing you do. Don't say nothing. You know, some people tell you, yeah, well, you got to say how you feel. I don't know. Me, I believe what the counselor said. When you get upset, your emotions are speaking more. Your anger is speaking more. Your fire is speaking more, not water. And how do you put out a fire? You put out a fire with water. You don't put out a fire with fire. This is what Fred Hampton told you at the age of 21. He had more wisdom in his little pinky finger of a finger pinky than every single one of your minority leaders that are leading you as lambs to a slaughter in a trap that is always utilized to increase the police state. Because they're part of it. They're part of it. No, you don't want to hear that. And this is where people talk about George Soros. All you need to know is these people are in bed with these politicians. They don't have to talk to them, but they're in bed with them in the system. Why? Because you're going to their marches, you're going to their protests, you're buying their shirts and hats, you're donating to their funds, and you're buying their books. And they can be yelling and screaming in the book all they want how Black lives should matter, but the only way they're selling that book is if Black lives don't matter. To me, it's called disaster capitalism, which is why I have not wrote no book. You're not supposed to write books on oppression and bad things that happen. You're supposed to fight those things to stop them from happening. All right? Does that make sense to anybody, or does that sound crazy to you? I just think that at the age of 21, Fred Hampton was a freaking genius. He figured the system out. He figured out what it took Martin Luther King, almost 30 years to figure out. He figured out what it took Malcolm X 20, 30 some years to figure out his damn self. That the only way you're going to fight the system is united. And the only way you're going to be united is if you stop abusing each other. And the only way that you're going to stop abusing each other is you stop using the terms that your slave masters gave you to abuse you. Slave masters, kings, landowners, you know, and it's just, and this is a discussion I always end up in. And I was talking to Sister Susie yesterday, love her to death, but we disagree. And then we were on Brother Mark's live stream. And, you know, she says, I'm going to get out there with Black Lives Matter and stuff. And I told you, well, the first problem I have is the name of the group. Like I said, all lives matter. I said, you need to take care of all children, doesn't matter what color they are. All of that's completely insignificant. Besides the fact you ain't never going to call me black, because that's what the slave masters called me. I have zero interest in carrying on their legacy. And the other thing was reparations came up, and I said, yeah, reparations is due. I agree with reparations. I absolutely agree with the reparations that need to be paid to 7 billion people across this planet, from these Rothschilds, Rockefellers, central banks, and the robber barons and all these cronies that stole everybody's land, created artificial scarcity. Yes, did some groups get it worse? Yes, they did. And the absolute group that's worse and on the bottom, I like to call them women. Oh, Yeah, you missed that, didn't you? You missed. I was gonna say black. Nah, I ain't gonna say that. The absolute group. I said that before. If you follow me, the absolute group who has been abused by every single race, religion, nation, law, group, country, nation, region since the beginning of time on this planet was women. So we're lining up for reparations. Well, like I said before, I have no interest in your reparations because I have no interest in jumping in line in front of women. Every group abused them. We're still abusing. There's no equality. So what I'm saying is, instead of playing groups and like, ooh, who's got it worse, you need to say, you know what? We have the automation and technology to freaking help everybody. Why wouldn't we help everybody? Well, it's because certain groups are trying to abuse you. That's why. They're trying to take their power and put it over you. So they don't have a problem with the system. They don't have a problem with slavery. They don't have a problem with oppression. The problem is they want to oppress you. Right? That's the abuser. And what I had a problem with, if Mark is around, I posted the video. I posted all the videos I watched, not necessarily because I agree with him. I might agree with some of the things in them, but I think they're interesting discussions. Where the brother was saying, yeah, well, you know, when, and he was a light-skinned Moor. I have to change how I speak like everybody else. I don't believe in white and black. Why? Because they gave that. And that, to me, that's stupid. I ain't never seen a white person in my life. I was white once, but that was when the snake jumped out the bushes. And then I went back to being brownish. He was a light-skinned Moor, and he was talking on Mark's video. And he said, yeah, well, you know, when black people are talking, is what he said, we're supposed to be quiet. Just be quiet. Let them talk. Listen to them. And I agree with that. And when poor whites are talking, shut up and let them speak too. When women are talking, shut up, let them speak. How about when 7 billion people who live on this planet, who all have a degree of abuse of speaking, how about we just listen to all their stories? How about we don't prioritize any cousins over the other? How about we just listen to everybody? How about that? Just keep it that simple, right? Because if you categorize and give any group power over you, I guarantee you they will abuse you. I promise you that. I gave women something, now I'm gonna take it back. Okay, that's how I do. I'm not in for any groups. The women's rights movement started out like the civil rights movement. It was about equality. Damn it, y'all been doing this wrong. We need some equality. And once the women who were there for equality got that ship rolling, got it pushed on, same with the civil rights movement, got that ship moving, we're going in the right direction. What did they do? They went back to work. Okay, they went back to work. Who was left over? The same guy that busted that window. That was who's left. The crazy psychopaths. They have no interest in equality. They mad as hell and they want supremacy. All right. If you let somebody silence you because they're from any group or gender or identity, any of it, and you think that you're supposed to let them talk over you, not just tell you their experience, they are going to abuse you. Because that's how human beings work. Anybody you give power to will eventually abuse you. They will thank you for the power and they will abuse you because that's how that works. All right. That's why I like to talk in principles, right? Everybody's equal. Everybody can be taken care of. I don't understand why we're having discussions about identities anymore. Right? Everybody can be their unique them. Nobody has to fit within a certain community, right? Straight. I like, you know, I don't like LBGTQ. I like SLGBTQ or put the S at the end. I don't even give a damn. There are people who fall in that spectrum and there are people who jump around on that spectrum. Why do you care what they do and why do they got to fit to your categorization? Why can't somebody be Christian and Muslim? Why they can't be Muslim? Why can't they be atheist and Christian? Why can't they be scriptural and Kemetism? Right? Leave people alone. Like, nobody has to fit your categorizations. We have enough resources to free the entire freaking human planet. All right? We got free energy. We have learning software. We can grow food for everybody and build houses for everybody. Why are we still talking about what we're going to get and take from everybody else or prevent others from getting? Right, remember this. Anytime somebody censors you and they tell you to be a good white person, you have to just listen. All right? They're trying to abuse you. That's what abusers do to women the minute that they start dating. Yeah, I like principles and examples. Like when you meet somebody and they're like, oh, well, no, you got a friend. And she's like, wants to bring the guy around. I want you to meet Jack. He's such a nice guy. You know, bring Jack around. And I just kind of watch how Jack treats her. And I'm like, you know, he's kind of talking over you. He's like cutting you off. He's not letting you finish your sentences, and he's correcting you, and you're acting submissive. This man got a little abusive energy in him. I'm not saying he's an abuser physically, but he's definitely got some audible something. He's not respecting you as much, and you can kind of see where that goes, right? When people cut you off, they're censoring you. We do it on accident. Unfortunately, we do it to people that we know the most sometimes, but we're actually censoring them. Why? Because we don't find what they got to say significant, so we talk over them, or we finish the sentence for them. That's marital counseling. You can look that up. When people want to censor you, they want to abuse you. And in times like this is when these words come up: white fragility and white guilt and all of this stuff. You need to take all of them racist words, pack them up, and stick them in your butt and go blow up somewhere. I'm sorry, you do. That's racism. You don't fight fire with fire. You fight fire with water. All you're doing is pissing people off. All you're doing is creating racist people because you think you're fighting racist people. You're taking a fire that we can put out and you're making it an inferno. Why? Because people got books to sell. That's why. They got elections to win, and it's election season. All right? Sorry, I'm done. I ranted for like damn near an hour. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. We have to change how we fight. You really want to fight the power? Then you got to fight the power. Don't fight the powerful. You really want to change things? You got to speak change. If you're doing things and it's not changing, and you keep protesting, you know it's a trap, and the police state gets bigger and bigger and bigger every time you get out there and protest, then you need to try something else. Go and let your friends protest. That's their thing. If that's where their energy is at, bless them, let them go, and protect them, and understand that they are young people or people not seeing the full spectrum, or they have that energy who needs to bring awareness. Let them do it. Save the posts, save the videos, make sure you're protecting them. Make sure you always know what side you're on. All right? Anyway, that's where my mind's at. I'm gonna read comments and I'm gonna get out of here. American police are trained by Israel. Yes, they are, Betty, and that's a problem because Israel ain't nice to his people. T-shirts to sell. Yes, Melissa, they also sell t-shirts and bumper stickers. People who are profiting from disaster. These are people you need to avoid. People who want to end it and have no profit in it, that's a good thing. Government that wants to get rid of itself, government that writes laws so it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, if that thing is even possible, that's a good government. Government that writes laws to get bigger and bigger, create more problems and more problems, and that you keep yelling and screaming at the police with the Sharpie signs and yelling and fussing and fighting and protesting and burning down stuff, and they got the provocateurs that increases the police state, and the politicians don't do a damn thing. They showed you who they are. Believe them. Believe them. They want to profit from the chaos. There are no sides. No Petra, not to anybody's got any common damn sense in their head. People who are emotional are different though. Right? Like I do understand people who are angry, and we do have to accept them for who they are, right? We got to accept that energy, right? There are some people who are just, man, if you have never had a pot to piss in and window to throw it out, and the police have been on your back your entire damn life, and you barely got food stamps and you can't get them, and one of the kids in the system, and they wouldn't have been in the system if you had time to spend with them, but you're working 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs. Yeah, you're going to have a little anger with you, right? We have cousins that are that way, and we got to do the best we can look out for them. And this is where I agree with my light-skinned Moore brother, where he says you got to listen to people. Listen to their pain. Listen to what they've come through. Listen to how they've been abused in trailer parks, burials, and ghettos, and stand up for those people. But don't ever do what those people tell you to do. Why? Because they got that warrior gene going. They got a fight in them, and they need to get that fight out. And when you got that energy in you, then yeah, real bad things are gonna happen. I got one other thing I want to say about brother George Floyd. First of all, I repeat yesterday, black lives don't matter. They're not supposed to. Neither are blue lives nor white lives, because those are all slave names. They're all billionaires and robber barons and landowners and railroad tycoons who named you. Those things don't matter. Those things are commodities, all right? They don't matter. George Floyd lives matter, unless he's in Bahamas. If he's in the Bahamas, that's a whole nother discussion, all right? If he's gone, and which I think he is, his life mattered. Do you think he wants this? Let me just ask you this question. I mean, he looked like he was a smart brother. How can you look at him and tell he looked like he was a smart brother? I don't know. I know he was in security. I know in security you ain't stupid. I got friends who work security at Target and some of the other big box stores, and they weren't idiots. You had to learn how to look at people, and you had to methodically be able to. He doesn't look like he was stupid. Do you think he wants this? Do you think he wants his memory to be you burning down Minneapolis? You going into AutoZone and stealing things? Do you think he wants that? Do you think he wants you fighting law enforcement? Do you think he wants you going after what he probably wanted to be, right? Because now he worked security at, what was it? At one of the, what's that name of that type of store called? Impact. Thrift shop. He worked security at thrift shop. He worked security at the club. This man believed in security. You think he wants you fighting with police? You think he didn't believe in security? Okay, think about it. What did this man want? You wanna keep his memory alive? You wanna make sure his life had meaning and it mattered in the way his life lost? Then you're fighting with police. Your fight is with people who are destroying your society because you got an unsociety. Your fight is with people who are creating artificial scarcity that are requiring security be the thing that it is in policing. Your fight is with policing. Imagine this. What if people finally took some sort of disaster or FF, whatever it was, and utilized it for something good? But they finally just said, that's it. That's it. We realize that the police is the lowest man on the totem pole. We're finally going to do what's in the Hollywood movies, and we're going to go after the big boss. We're going to stop being cowards. We're going to stop doing what the book writers and the speakers and the leaders are telling us what to do, which is to go after the little guy because they know that won't change anything and that'll keep the system of oppression going, and actually go after the big bosses, the ones who write the laws or above. Man, I tell you what, listen, let me say this. Because we're coming into this medical police state thing, and I may not be here too much longer. I'm gonna tell you that. I may not be here too much longer. I'm like I said, I think it's almost time for me to get off the bus. I'm kind of sick of this ride. This is not fun. I gotta live free for a little while. But if something happens in the coming months and weeks and years, and I disappear, y'all see me on a video being choked out by police, and odds are it ain't gonna be my police. I know my police and they know me, so I don't even think that's gonna happen. But if it's somebody at the state level or somebody that they hire that's not really a police, that lives in the neighborhood and everybody knows he's not a police, if it's something like that and they take me out, forgive the police. Forgive the police. Don't blame them. Don't blame them. They're doing a job. John, Mike, Ricky, Ralph, who's ever holding the badge and the gun, they're doing what they're told to do. They got a family at home. My issue isn't the order followers. I have no issue with the order followers. I want you to forgive them right away. I want you to do what that the little girl's mother did at Charlottesville, right? What did she do? Immediately, she forgave the man who drove that car over. That's what I want. I want them to stay on I don't want them to stay on the police force. Man, put them behind a desk or something. You got to stop psychopathic people, but the problem isn't the police, it's the laws, right? And I'm not taking no vaccine anything. That's not gonna happen. That's what I'm saying, that if this is coming up the last couple days, weeks, months, you are not putting embryo, child tissue, monkey tissue, or any chemicals in my body in no kind of a shot. As long as I live here, I live free, because like I said, slavery is a choice and I ain't no damn slave. If it's my time to get taken out, you need to blame the order givers. Go for the big boss. You get upset, tired of me coming here and not yelling at you in the morning on the video because they killed me on my porch. Forgive the police. Actually go after the people who caused the problem. And I suspect that's what George Floyd wants. I don't know the man. I don't know him from paint, but I think he was a smart man. Forgive the police, the guy he worked with, and go after a system that enables police to do the things that they do. A system that perhaps won't let them police constitutional. A system where the people are scared of them and they're scared of the people. The people are arming up, so they're being armed up too. That's how I think you make somebody, that's how you take a death and make it out into something beautiful. And that was my point. It doesn't really matter what you believe. It doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. To me, I think doing the right thing is still the same. Ain't too late if you're out there in Minneapolis right now. You can change the signs. I saw your signs, and yeah, I saved the pictures of them because I'm gonna make jokes later at some point in time. But It's not too late to change a sign, right? There's a reason why the only protest that literally disappeared from the face of the earth was the Occupy protest. Why? They went after the profit. They went after the bankers. They went after the corporations. They were young people like the brother in Chicago, I keep forgetting his name, who actually figured it out. When you follow the money, they're gonna shut that protest down in ways that you will never pick up a sign. I still know people from that Occupy protest, and they have not picked up a sign since. The ones who got that call from that FBI or whoever it was that called them, one of them acronym agencies that we don't even know exist, like Deagle or whatever the name is, they got that phone call. I have no idea what he told my friend. Whatever he told my friend, that was the end of it. You ain't see him nowhere else on social media, nothing. I see him every now and then I go home. He ain't having nothing to do with nothing right now. When you actually pick a fight with the people causing the problem, when you actually pick a fight with the big boss instead of Vinny the Nose, the order followers, who are all replaceable, and they replace them every damn time, right? Of every damn protest. I have no interest in the cop being fired. Somebody killed me, fix the problem. Fix the problem. Don't feed the problem. All right, I'm gonna read comments, I'm gonna get out of here. Woo! Maybe they just pull your chain every once in a while to remind you you are not to be dependent. Well, yeah, Petra, I would say that nobody should be dependent on a system that's based in killing people, oppression, murder, trafficking weapons all around the planet while fighting the trafficking of weapons in their own country that they actually put in their own country. Because 70% of the weapons trafficking around the world come from the Pentagon. All right. Yeah, I don't have any interest in being a dependent on that system. Being a dependent on that system, it means that you're complicit with it, right, Petra? Like, that's when these things happen. I look in the mirror and how am I a part of this? Well, I'm a part of this because I pay my taxes. I vote, or I used to vote, and I go to work and I do all the things that I'm told what to do. So I'm a part of the system, and the police are just a different part of the system. If you really think about it, they just chose to go a different path. They got in that job and they're not backing out. Like a lawyer or a banker, a doctor, a lawyer, anybody else, engineer, what you do, fast food worker, you get in there and you find out your product is killing people. You find out it's not what you thought it was, but now you got a mortgage, you got a car, you got a family support and kids on the way. You're gonna keep doing your job. And the same thing that these police do. It's easy to make a demon out of anybody else, but it is hard to look in that mirror and be a grown adult and say, I'm a part of the problem. So yeah, Petra, I'm not interested in pointing any fingers. I always point that finger in the mirror and say, well, what do I do? How do I change my life so I'm not a part of this anymore? Well, dependency, right? If you're going to a protest, you got on some brand new Nikes, maybe you need to think about where them Nikes came from. Well, they're killing us. They treating us like slaves, man. Yeah, I know, but so does Nike. You know, Nike got slave plantations that they actually make tennis shoes on. You know, iPhone, was it iPhone or was it Droid? Which is one that got the manufacturing in China where people are jumping off the roof and murdering themselves so you can have a cell phone so you could take pictures and videos from a protest that you don't like slavery. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, it's not popular, and I'm not trying to get popular. I'm just saying that all the problems I've seen in my life since I've grown up at the age of 29 are in the mirror. I'm a part of every single problem. So I'm working on my dependency, Petra. David Steele's having problems with his volumes. David, sometimes you got to go out and come back in. Love is the answer. Yes, Lori, it always is. Love all the wisdom and all the scriptures. Christine, they all are, and scriptures and ancient texts have nothing to do with religion. They were old, ancient people who are dust right now, who found something important to say, they thought it was true, and they wrote it down. Religion is taking a few of those scriptures, putting them into a book, and getting people to follow you. All right, I'm not against religion, not against the scriptures, but I'm all for wisdom, and there's wisdom throughout every religion I've ever looked at. Refuse divisions. Lori, I refuse divisions in every angle I see. Every angle I see, whether it's skin, race, nation, religion, any of the nonsense, because they're all given to play people. It's always divide and conquer. I'm officially identifying as a fairy unicorn. Fudge the demented humans. Yes, Tiana. And you're supposed to, girl. You're supposed to be a fairy. I'm fine to call you a fairy, Tiana. I just don't want to call you any of the name that the billionaires, railroad tycoons, and slave masters, any names that they give. I call you a fairy all day if that's what you want to be. And I appreciate you being not only live streaming, but talking to the sister on the live stream the other day. I saw that, by the way. I did see that, Tiana. I saw that. You was trying to be nice and say something and try to help somebody, and she wasn't having it at the moment. But remember, I told you that, you know, it's like I just said, it's like there's some people who've gone through some hell, and you just be in that oxygen space, and you look the wrong way, got the wrong shoes on, and you're gonna get a reaction out of them. And she got that reaction trying to be positive, but that's okay. You know, you give people their space, let people be people, love people, and keep it moving. That's all I'm saying. Because people don't know the truth. No, D, they don't know the truth, and I don't know the truth neither. I'm not letting anybody think, Deanne Greenlaw Royce, that I know the truth. I don't know the truth. I just look at the popular narrative and I question it. I look in the mirror and I say it out of my mouth and I start questioning it. And usually the popular narrative is never really what's going on. It's never close enough to the truth and always smells funky. Observation, trust your gut. Good point, G. Well, Buddha, and you know this, Elaine. You know this. You gotta trust your gut, especially as a woman. You know this. Always trust your gut. You got those evolved senses. When somebody comes around, whether it's biophotons, a feeling, a smell, whatever. When it don't look right, the Kool-Aid don't look right. That's not a place for you to go. That's all that microbiology in your body telling you that something ain't right with this. You know, I'm not going to go along with the popular narrative. And the way I see it is usually, once that narrative is properly held, usually it's co-opted the same way this whole protest thing has been. And it always has been from the very beginning. If it's big enough. If it's big enough, you need to go another way. Another example might be the Tea Party. I don't know why people are still saying the Tea Party is racist. I mean, it might be now. I don't know nothing about now. But it started, Donald Trump started it. No, he didn't start the Tea Party. And they go back and say, who was the guy they said started it? George Bush or somebody like that. No, because I was in the Tea Party. I believe in throwing tea over the water because the first man that started the Tea Party named was Crispus Attucks. I believe when the tea companies come in and they're part of the problem, like the corporations like Nike and Reeboks and Amazon, Walmart, Target, I believe that you throw their product overseas. I think that you throw it in the ocean. I was part of Tea Party from the very beginning. Now somebody came along and I forgot who ran at the time and they co-opted it. It got big, it was starting to grow. It was about freedom, leave people alone. It was more anarchist and libertarian at the time, which is what I was. But it got big and they co-opted it, right? But that's not what the Tea Party is about. You know your history, you should look it up. Wake up, world, Lori, I wish they would wake up. But everything that gets big gets taken over. That's what I'm saying. You need to be leery of any movement, any mass progression, anything that you see on a lot of people doing. But if it's on the news, Fox, ABC, NBC, and all of these different channels and all of that, yeah, nope. You need to be very highly suspicious. Who's that? Brenda says she's not surprised. I know, Brenda, don't be surprised. I've hated slavery from the beginning, Brenda. I believe in freedom, and the freest thing I knew at that time was libertarian and Tea Party. It's like, nah, y'all need to leave people alone. Because when I was not as sharp as a brother in Chicago at 21, but somewhere in my mid-20s, after I started reading laws and realizing these criminals ain't never on my side. These criminals on the Democrats and the Republicans, writing up police state laws for foster care, taking children from poor people and stuff like that. Once I realized that the system ain't for me, I started looking at freedom. I was like, okay, I get it. The plantation needs to end. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know anything about the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871, where the republic, the actual government of the Americans, the 50 nation states became a corporation to serve billionaires. I didn't know anything about that. But my next step was libertarian, Tea Party, and the deeper I dug into the laws, and that landed me in the space I am today. Eventually, went through the Ron Paul move and a few other things, but it was a progression like the mousetrap, entrapping people with these protest things, getting them to react to what's on television instead of think about why isn't on television. I progressed more towards freedom. So the more I really read and the more I thought about it, it's like, yeah, we need less and less laws. We need smaller and smaller government. Government, philosophically is no real different than the slave master on the plantation. And that's kind of how I view it now, Brenda, as I look and when people are like posting about these 2020s, I don't see what you see. You see somebody in a nice suit that's going to free you. I see a slave master, and I got my cotton in my hand and a bag and a thorny cotton plant, and I'm picking, and you're cheering to put somebody else on that porch, looking at us while they're drinking iced tea. And a couple of slaves, a couple of us up on that porch, and they might be pissing in his tea, but the White House, the big house should not exist. That porch shouldn't exist, and nobody should be surveying white, black, red, yellow people, free people. They should be freeing the people, and the nation is supposed to be free. But yeah, the more I went through it, the more laws I read, the more I was just like, you know what, y'all, we're all slaves. And finally, once I ran into the Act of 1871, I realized we're not even slaves and the birth certificate stuff. We're just commodities. We're property, which is why it makes no sense that you go to a government corporation that's governing, that we thought was a government, and demanding they give you rights that you don't have. You gave up those rights at birth through your birth certificate. You're a commodity. They are allowed to shoot you dead in the street on a daily basis and choke you, all right, legally, and get away with it. And they're allowed to write bad checks, and that's what fractional reserve banking is. They write checks to money that they don't actually have, money that you actually can never pay back, and that's the scam that your Democrats and Republicans put it in. So when y'all get out there and start marching, and you start talking about bringing down Babylon, doing a paradigm shift instead of just getting some police some training or getting them fired, yeah, I'm sorry. I love you to death. I love your passion like Greta, but it's a waste of time. It's all a waste of time, and it's all a support of the system. They're losing faith. Who's losing faith, Melissa? Let me see. Respect their experiences. Yes, Christine, respect their experience. We got to respect everybody's experience. And your experience could have been significantly worse. But still respect their pain, because some people are designed to deal with pain better than others. And that's what a family does, right? Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning, Belinda. Carzigna's in the house, and Sandra. Deborah Chandler. Let me see. They're scared of losing control. So have armed up, controlling ways. Yeah, Tiana, I think they are. I don't think they were ready for the internet. I think they weren't ready for people being social, comparing notes, and realizing, you know, that we're all being played against each other. I think you got a lot of people who are evolving, like the Malcolm X and the brother in Chicago, who I just forgot his name again. I think people are evolving and starting to see the system. And so I think they're getting increasingly desperate, which was good. I mean, they did this video. It was emotional. I mean, it was emotional. It was put together, or it was, if you've seen it, you understand the emotion I was feeling when I watched it. But I think those emotions can be explained. Dirty cops just exposed, example time. Right, Brenda, and we're always exposing dirty cops. And then next year we'll expose some more dirty cops. Another 4 years, some more dirty cops, and some more dirty cops, and some more dirty cops, some more dirty cops, some more dirty cops, some more dirty cops, more dirty cops, fire and fire, more protests, more dirty cops, fire and fire. At one point in time, is somebody throwing dirt in the police station? Is somebody legislating dump trucks of manure and dirt to go dump them on every damn police station? At some point in time, we'll say, you know what, maybe it's policing. Maybe it is the laws. Maybe it's not dirty cops. Maybe cops are supposed to be dirty. Maybe cops are raised poor like we are. Maybe cops are the kids that got locked in lockers. Maybe cops have bad days like we do when we flip out on our husband or wife. Maybe the having power over people is a bad idea, and you're always going to have a dirty cop if you have a thing called a cop. Maybe you're going to have unconstitutional actions being levied against the people if the laws are unconstitutional. Maybe if you have a government that sees you as a commodity, which is really a corporation, you'll never have rights. It'll always treat you like you're a commodity. When people really see the system, then they stop making the oppression sustainable. Then we're going in the right direction. MK Ultra possibly, Melissa, that's always an option too, right? That's Freedom of Information Act that was released. You know, but they're all options, right? They're all out there, but like, I'm not going to debate anybody on the options, right? Because what do I know? They treat me like I'm a commodity too. They don't tell me any damn thing, right? Now, I don't trust the TV. You can't trust what you see on the internet. The only thing you can do is look at history and use your critical thought and say, hey, well, that actually makes some sense, but we really don't know. Until we have an open source society, yeah, you ain't gonna get me casting no damn ballot. You see people out there yelling and screaming, no, we need to stop voting. We need to stop voting for a system that ain't changing any damn thing every time we get out here protesting, until they realize that they don't want to be a part of that sustainable mousetrap. Fall in the bucket, fall in the bucket, fall in the bucket. See the cheese, fall in the bucket. See the cheese, fall in the bucket. Until we stop doing that, Pointing at dirty cops, the lowest man on the totem pole, you need to look at the people who are making policing dirty. And ask yourself, why are they doing that? Resist Urge to Post. Thrift Shop by Macklemore. That was a good song, Patricia. I know you ain't resisting no urge. Patricia, you ain't got no filter. Stop it. Don't even play. She gonna post it later today. All right, his family said, so little. I'm guessing he's still alive. Tiana, and that I think that that's a guess that anybody can have. I'm just, my hesitation, Tiana, is that I'm always afraid somebody did die. And if you ever had anybody close to you die, I don't ever want my theory to get in the way of them mourning somebody they lost, right? He could have been played as well as anything, or it could have just been a real policing action that went wrong. Like, we really don't ever know. I just know that none of that changes what we need to be doing, and that is we can't have any more secrets in anything called government. Good morning, Susan. Sometimes you have to hear something down. You have to hear something down to be able to build something new. Oh, tear something down to build something new. Yes. And Petra, I agree with that. I agree with that. Sometimes you got to tear something down to build something new, but I don't think it's Indianapolis or Minneapolis. I don't think it's New York. I think these cities have infrastructure to take care of people. I don't think we need to burn down the cities. I think we need to burn down the burning down and stop consenting to those who create things that we want to burn down, if that makes sense. Good morning, Jennifer. What a coincidence that the pandemic happened during the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, and all this is happening right now before the lunar and solar cycle. Since the beginning of history, the kings use the astrology to make decisions and build pyramids, but astrology is meaningless. Question mark. Ooh, Susan. And I know there's something to that. I just don't know what it is. All I know is human beings can't do what this man did if this man is dead. You see what I'm saying? Like, from that perspective of what you just said, human beings can't do that. Human beings cannot do it. Same way I talk about people's politicians, Susan. Human beings can't murder people and get up the next morning, make coffee and tea and go do it again. Human beings can't ask for a kill list. Human beings won't sign an NDAA. Human beings don't take right from each other. Human beings don't bomb children. Human beings don't do that. Human beings cannot put their knee on another person's neck until they die. What was it, 3 minutes or something like that? However long it was? Human beings can't do that. There's a lot more going on here, Susan, than what we understand. And I don't understand astrology. I don't understand dark energy. I don't understand people talk about goyim and archons and things that I don't know. It's too much. I just know that there are dark, spiritual, evil, demonic, possession-based things that are doing things that human beings are not capable of. And I've given that example many times. If Citizen Deb were driving her car, or Sita or Miss Tree, and you crashed and you killed a baby, it would ruin your life. It would ruin I don't think anything in your life would be the same for a very long time. And even at the end of your life, if you lived another 40 years, you still, at the end of time, you'd still see that baby's face in an accident, in a car accident. But to do it intentionally is a whole nother thing. And was that 8 minutes, Price? I mean, 8 or 10 minutes, Jesse? I don't know. I just know that there were 3 cops back there. That's what I know. There were 3 people who had uniforms of cops and costumes that looked like they were humans, choking to death another person. Humans can't do that. Mystery can't do that. Citizen Deb can't do that. Not intentionally. They can't do it accidentally and move on. Lori can't do that. Petra can't do that. There's a lot more going on here than what we know. And that's why my interest isn't blaming the police. There are a lot darker things that are happening. And so it might have to do with astrology. I don't know. What's that dude's badge all wonky like? He doesn't even know how to put it on. Somebody commented on my post and wall. Something. Okay, it just went up and I missed it, Patricia. I think you were indicating that I was looking for that uniform to not fit, right? Because if his neighbors are saying, oh, he's the police. He didn't tell us. He's the only police officer in the United States of America that none of his neighbors seem to know he was a police officer. Right? To me, that's suspicious, and that's something that the FBI would be looking into if the FBI were actually here for us. Right? I look at that uniform. I mean, it doesn't look like it fits to me. I don't know. The badge looks a little wonky. Maybe he was fighting. Maybe it doesn't fit. Maybe he got it at the costume store. Maybe they gave it to him and they hired him. I don't know. Some people said that either the police car didn't look like it was Minneapolis or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. You know, but to me, it's not a debate and it's not a protest. It's a point of we need open source everything. Like, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to go to a database right now and type in his name and look him up. What does he do for a living? Why does that need to be secret, right? If you're serving the people, if you're protecting and serving, I think those records should be public. It means you work for us, right? All the politicians, where they live. Well, if you're a politician, you're working for us. Why is your address hidden? Why can't we look you up in a database? Why aren't all of our public servants? I mean, government's supposed to work for us, right? We should be able to look everything up. Everybody here should be able to go do their own research and look these people up, but you can't. You can't. Petra said, "Oh, can you? Can you? I didn't know you can. You mean as a database, I can go look this man up and see his whole policing record, that what he's done, and his address? I don't think you can. You can't even get the politicians' addresses. Hardly. And to me, I think it's important to do that. Why? Because if you're actually working for us, then you don't need bodyguards. You don't need to hide. I'm a big believer in when grandma could take that pocketbook and beat a politician over the head. I think that you should be able to reach out and touch a president if you need to. Because if one day in the future, these people, you realize they're not working for you, the congressmen and senators and councilmen. See, if I actually were crazy and psychotic and lost my damn mind enough to go into politics, I wouldn't hide. I wouldn't hide. I actually would listen to the people, right? I wouldn't be deceptive and secret working with corporations and taking money and lobbyism and hurting people and doing things I know is killing people, and I'm fine with that, and then just live a life of secrecy and live in a gated community. Nah, if you're a politician, if you're a community organizer, if you really want to help people, you're going to go live with the people. If you don't live with the people, you don't know the people. Man, I'm going to go stay some time in the burial, then I'm going to go hang out and stay some time in a trailer park. I'm going to go find the ghetto. I'm going to find the people who are the least, who I need to be giving the most assistance to. Not a fishing rod. I'm not talking about welfare, because all the sides of all these discussions are always jacked up and broken and indifferent or apathetic, right? You give a person a fish so they don't die, but then you give them a fishing rod so they can feed themselves. I'd be distributing land, but I wouldn't be hiding. People who hide have things to hide. If you got a government that has secrecy and classified information and top secret, and they hide their address and where they go, if you work for me, I need to know where you are. If you the fry guy, if the government work for me, you the fry guy. Can the McDonald's manager not text the fry guy and tell him come in for extra shift? Does he not have his phone number? Does not know where he's at? And does the fry guy not always respond? You know, but then again, that's a point of, where have we gone too far? Can you actually have a government? Do we still have a reason to have a government? Do we still need to be governed? And where my mind is, which is why I'm mostly an anarchist, is my answer is no. My answer is no. When you take care of people and they got the things that they need, they become beautiful creatures. When you give them pleasant childhoods and the things that they need, instead of keeping things from them, because corporations want those things, or it keeps people in conflict with each other, and that's what the banks want, and they only print enough money for certain people to be at the top and everybody else to be at the bottom, then you have violence. And we can't get to that system tomorrow, but we sure can start. But the people who are who really have a problem with Rome, instead of wanting to run Rome, they got to want to start to bring it down and bring it to an end. That's why I'm saying I like solutions, and I really don't run with my emotions, because emotions aren't solutional. They're just emotions. The 3rd precinct was a relatively new building built on tax dollars while schools in that area were being closed down. Well, mistreated makes sense. They're not investing in the future. We like to pretend we love kids and we're looking out for kids and they're our future. I believe the children are the future, mistreat. Treat them well, but invest in the police department. Build some prisons so when they graduate with D's, they'll be inside. Who sung that? Whitney Houston? Give them a sense of crime and artificial scarcity, so they won't become the beautiful things they should be. I just don't like to play games, and to me, I just see a lot of bullshit. That's all. A lot of bullshit, Miss Tree. I'm not interested. I can barely tie my shoes with all of the MK Ultra. Yeah, Mr. Cedar, it keeps coming. It keeps coming and coming and coming, which is why we don't have any choice. All we can do is talk about it. So all we can do is talk about it. Yes, Lori, it's a beautiful song, and not enough people in the country meant it. They sung it, they hold hands, we rocked, we got out the what's the flashlight, not the lighter, and do the wave. Nobody believed it, because we don't invest in children at all. At all. If we actually appreciated children, we wouldn't have built more prisons in elementary schools. And that should tell everybody what they need to know. Some of y'all still think that Obama was a good president. He came from poverty and blah, 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 and whatever. And okay, I'm fine with that. That's what you believe. That's your experience. It's not mine. But if that's the case, then how come he built more prisons in elementary schools? If Trump loves us and he loves freedom and the Bill of Rights, why is he putting more police on the street than getting rid of the unconstitutional laws? I don't really care what people say. I only care about their actions. You say that children are the future, then we need to start letting children be children. You need to fix the education system. You need to fix the schools. You need to free the children. And you damn sure need to stop ripping them from parents because the parents ain't got a power bill or they're just poor. Right? Like, we have real problems. And you can make George Floyd's memory if you feel that he's dead. And I do. You can make it meaningful. Or you can get a reputation. You can find some neat videos you can post on the internet. You might pick up 5,000 new Facebook friends by posting those videos and out there protesting. You might sell some t-shirts. You can sell some pizza. Or you can actually make a difference. Right? That's all I'm saying. I believed it before the song was written and still believe it now. It was a beautiful song. Lori, I think there's something about songwriters like Brother Pat Riley and D-Light and a few people who just, oh man, there was so much content to their music. There was so much meaningful. But it's like entertainment in Hollywood. They have no interest in the meaning in things. They're always trying to control people with stuff. Like, oh my gosh, did you see the Madonna thing? Who posted that Madonna thing? Like, none of this makes sense. This whole thing, it stinks to high heaven. Did y'all see where there was, I don't think it was Madonna. It was like another young artist. And I can't play it, once again, copyright. I have no idea why we got copyrights. But there's something about writers and authors and movies. Like, there's a lot more to these stories than what we think. Hang on. Let's try to find it. There was a Madonna video to Like a Prayer. Y'all remember Like a Prayer? And I ain't gonna sing it. I'm not gonna do that because then both aren't gonna come. We're gonna have a whole bunch of memes today. Where is it? It was some event from 2019, I think it was, where they stopped in the middle. It was in like fall of 2019 before all this happened, and it was scarily looked like something that we might see today. Who posted this? Where is it at? Somebody posted the Madonna thing. I can't even find it. Hold on. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Like, you're like, what is he looking at? Hold on, let me show you right here. Let me do this. Well, no, I think it was one of the young people who were singing Madonna's Like a Prayer, and she stopped in the middle and she recited this really creepy thing. Like, did y'all watch the, what was it? The Olympic event, right? With the whole pandemic Olympic event thing. It was creepy like that. And I was gonna go back and watch Madonna's video. I don't remember it. I remember it was in a church and she had on white. It was like a prayer, I take you there, just like a dream, you will see. And you got to going. And it wasn't like dark, and it had nothing to do with pandemics and viruses and like creepy stuff. I don't know if people in Hollywood send us messages or what it is. Somebody posted that video. And this is what I was trying to tell you, that you have to go through the comments. That's where the meat and potatoes are. It's the only reason I post the stuff I do is because we actually have discussions. And not all my friends, but most of them are quite mature. Here it goes right here. Are quite mature and they're interested in fixing things, not just, blasting emotions. I gotta change the screen.
She's a worldwide icon.
I'll stop it right there because we can't do that part. man, I need to close this. Man, I need to get a state. You know what? I need to get a studio one day. I need to get a studio and take this seriously, and get a setup. So she goes through and she's singing. I'll post a link if you haven't seen it. That costs money. You can't see it, but I'm sitting in my bed right now. It's creepy. It looks like the Olympics. Blah 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 blah. I'm singing like a prayer. It's darkness and evil and blah 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 blah. And then you get up to here, and it gets really weird. And they say really weird things.
They are so naive. They think we are not aware of their crimes. We know, but we are just not ready to act. The storm isn't in the air. It's inside of us.
I'm not gonna play any more than that. I'll post a link. You need to watch it. This is crazy. For a lot of reasons. It had nothing to do with anything. And this was May 19, 2019. Some event. People in Hollywood like to go to this stuff. But so out of nowhere, you know, she's got this hat. The lady she pushed down, the other ladies, they got spring flowers like spring. And she's got on that gas mask. What does that have to do with Like a Prayer? This is not Madonna. This is not Madonna. Right? All of a sudden, then she said, you know, the whatever is not in the air. It's in you, right? The whole bad air analogy and people scared to go outside. They got the mask and bad air stuff, right? From the 1800s, they actually think that a pandemic is occurring in their lifetime, but the pandemic ain't never occurred in their lifetime. But governments lied in their lifetime for power and profit the same way they use these protests to increase the police state, but we won't go there. They're just making a medical state. This doesn't fit. This doesn't fit with the song. It is bizarre, Betty, and this goes back to what Susan said, which is why I think there's always a lot more going on. I won't post the whole thing. You can watch it because I don't mess around. I'll post it right. I'll post. You can watch it anytime you want. I post the links. You do your own analysis. You let me know. But in terms of everything, I think everything is a pandemic. When I say pandemic, I'm not talking about flu season. I'm talking about all of it. It seems it's orchestrated and seems like they got to tell us what they do before they do it. There's a link right there. You can watch and see how creepy it is, but I'm going to do comments and I'm going to wrap this up. Andiochrome addicts, and that seems to be a word, Lori, people say that they really can't talk about online. It's being banned in certain places, so I know there's something to it. You know, children have always been profitable since the beginning of time. Somebody mentioned vampire before. If you haven't done your research and you don't realize, yes, you can. They've been doing experiments where they take stem cells from babies and elongating life, right? Like the doctor, and we did this before. We talked about vampires, right? That's a real thing that's based in some real science, where they took a young mouse, hooked it up to an old mouse, and the old mouse that was dying became young again, stopped growing gray hair, started growing brown hair, the wrinkles went away, it was sterile, and it became fertile. Because the stem cells, and probably other things we don't understand, from the young mouse modified the old mouse. And it could be telomeres, right, Petra? It could be all kinds of things that we don't know. So now there's a doctor in Panama who's actually people in Hollywood go down to all the time. The guy who did Passion of the Christ took his father down there. His father was almost dead, had all these ailments, and a guy injected them with a certain type of stem cell. It was one particular variety that brings that reactivates your stem cells. It somehow triggers your body and says you're young again and starts creating these things. Right? It sounds crazy, but a lot of this stuff is based in science. And the crazy thing is, you're willing to go to a pharmaceutical industry with a science that's 100 years old called vaccines, but you won't even look at the science that these people are posting about with angiochrome that's relatively recent. But this is the dirty things and the tricks that they play on us. And this is the power with the mainstream media, is you can literally keep people back 100 years in science. The fountain of youth, they've already discovered that. They already have that. Come on, stop playing. All right, they've been had that. They got it for mice. You think they've discovered the fountain of youth for mice and not for them? And so that's what a lot of the angiochrome they talk about. They talk about the ability to stay young forever. Billionaires and trillionaires that can live forever have no interest in you living forever. If you live forever, they got to feed you. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why people debate depopulation. They've always done that. The kings and lords have always depopulated. They've always done it because there's too many of us. If we're around, they got to feed us. The same reason we put out mice traps. Why? Because if the mouse is running around in your house, you got to feed the damn thing. It's going to get into your food supplies. It can go to Walmart. It's going to make a farm. It's going to be eating and breathing up your oxygen. And you know who wants a dirty mice around their house? Who wants 7 billion people on their planet? Hell no. You put out mouse traps to catch them. You try to make them rubber band humans. You give them hues. You label them. You give them identities. You own your property and you label it so you can treat it like it's a herded animal through mainstream media, in which you can use key trigger words like racism to make them do what you want them to do, to depopulate them, to control them. All right? They discover the fountain of youth. They're not going to tell you. Let me see. Keep talking. You make so much sense. Thank you, Kathy. And I'd love to, but I'm losing my voice. I've already gone beyond my limit, and I'm trying to limit the length of these videos. We have discussions that can go for 3 hours, and that's too long. It's spring, and there's a whole lot of stuff I got to do. People think I stay on the internet all day, Kathy, and like literally I don't. I go out in the garden, in the jungle. The mycelium teach me things, and I post it on the internet, but I have to get going. I lose my voice. I lose my voice the way I'm talking. So I know I gotta get going. The education system is a prison system. Yes, it is, Petra. It needs to go. That's another kingdom that needs to fall. Jonathan's gonna tag Deborah Chandler in something, and that's another thing I haven't said in a long time. Y'all need to make friends with these people. Don't be friends with me. I can't help you. All I can do is give you my own little perspective, my own little way. The wisdom in this community are all these people. Y'all should all be friends. If you don't have 5,000 friends, your Facebook doesn't work. If you're hiding on YouTube, you need to go find another platform, even if it's just to make a Facebook profile to post nothing, just to see what the people post, right? If we can win if we all come together like a hive, but we all have to be friending each other. I still got friends, they got 1 or 2 friends in common. That makes no sense. You should have hundreds of friends in common with all these people. It'll only do anything but make you smarter. Iron will sharpen iron. You'll be able to see through the matrix a lot better. Nobody can see the entire matrix. It takes all of us to see through it. What program are you doing your live with? Can you have a guest? I sure can, Jesse. Anytime you want to come on, Jesse, inbox me. I'll let you come on. I'll use Be Live is what I do for interviews, and we can do an interview anytime you like. I believe it before the song was written, still do. Okay, good. Actions speak more than words. Yep, Christine, didn't somebody say that another way? Something about actions speak and words are silent, or words mean absolutely nothing. Actions mean absolutely everything. Somebody wise said something like that. Karzigna said, oh, you do care. I do care, Karzigna. I probably care too much. But that's okay. I got ties around here. Ty helps me to care less. That's one thing that Ty, y'all don't follow Furious George. You should follow Furious George. Another, he just puts out such great information, like a lot of these people here. Melissa Russo and Lily and Lori and a bunch of them. I can't list everybody, but Ty taught me how to care less. I care too much. And when I care too much, I'm useless, Karzigna. I have to learn to care enough to want to end the system and make a difference, but don't care so much that I'm feeding into the systems of the enemy, right? And that's an art of war, right? It's a part of this whole art of war and not being, who wrote that? Lao Tzu? I keep mixing them up. There were two, there's another one. Anyway, I got too much in my mind. To never be where your enemy expects you. If your enemy expects you in Minneapolis, you need to be in New York. If your enemy expects you on Facebook, you need to be on YouTube. If your enemy expects you to protest, you need to be at home reading law. If an enemy expects you to go use law, you need to be out protesting, right? Like wherever your enemy does not expect you to be, that's where you want to be. Somebody put it right. Sun Tzu. Okay, thank you, Jonathan. I know Lao Tzu was the other one, right? Didn't it? You got a Sun Tzu and a Lao Tzu? Who wrote the other book that people need to read? You know what I'm talking about. The one that they don't know the author, that just had all of these deep, powerful points. Somebody in Japan or China long time ago. What's the name of the book? Somebody posted. I got it on my desktop. No, not the Jungle Book. Who posted? Did I say the Jungle Book? Sun Tzu. What is the name of the book? No, there's The Art of War. Tao Te Ching. Yes, Christine. The Tao Te Ching. If y'all have not read the Tao Te Ching, read it. You can go on YouTube and there's a guy that'll read it for you, right? Powerful. Oh my gosh, people, you know, at the principle level. And I never would have heard about it if it weren't for Facebook. I had a friend that told me he was a dude named Marvin, told him he was Taoist years ago. And I was like, you crazy. I was like, you ain't Taoist, you Tao crazy. You Tao something. Need a Tao for all that ignorance. Powerful, short, principle-based statements. The Art of War will teach you how to protest. It'll teach you how to fight the power. The Tao Te Ching will teach you how to live life. Powerful statements, and it's not anti-religious. It does not defy your religion in any way. Once again, these ancient books were just simply texts of people who discovered truthful things, and they wrote them down for the benefit of the future of humanity. You either can benefit from it, or you can keep watching the Tao to CNN, the Tao to Fox, the Tao to MSNBC, and the art of MSN. You know, you're either doing one or the other, but you ain't gonna do both. I'm gonna change this music up and start wrapping this up. I got to get the rolling. Luciferian, yeah, there is something weirdly Luciferian, Lori, about all this nonsense that's happening. My bed is my office, Belinda said, but be careful with that, because you know, this isn't like my office, Belinda. You want to get off that bed, it's not your office. I did that once when I worked from home, and I hated my bed. And I did it on the sofa, and I hated my sofa. Don't ever do slavery in places that you love. If you work from home, go sit in the garden. That was all I could do, Belinda, to combat it. If you're on lockdown, anybody scared of flu, or you just can't go to work working from home, you need to set up a separate office from your family. Make your own little plantation office thing away from where things that bring you joy reside. Right? Because then you're going to start to link it to your slavery job. And it was a horrible, horrible thing. But when I started working in my garden, when I work from home, it's something about the birds, the bees, the fungi, the fresh air, and the plants. It just healed all of that, and the stress went away. Your visual overlay. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, I'm too far up in comments. I'm sorry I missed it. Yeah, Jennifer, it does seem like a ritual. It was crazy. Nauseating garbage. Yes, Jonathan, it was. And why? Why would Madonna do that? Why would Hollywood produce something like that? And why the hell is it like really linking up with what we see happening right now? They drink blood and eat flesh. I think, Lori, vampires exist from a scientific perspective because we know scientifically it makes sense. But I don't think I've seen anyone say anything about like if you ingest stem cells or blood that it reactivates your stem cells. I believe it's injections, and the way the doctor does it in Panama, he injects you right in the area where you have the problem. And so the stem cells reactivate your stem cells in that area to solve it. I thought that if a vampire per se, if you bit someone and drank the blood, your digestion would it'll just eat everything. It'll digest everything. So I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Like I said, I saw enough angiochrome to know that I don't want to know no more, Lori. I saw enough of it. Okay. I got it. It was like the whole video with the brother the police killed. I was like, nah. Well, let me say the brother that the state killed. That's a better way to say it. Otherwise, people get confused. Yeah, I saw enough of it to know, you know what, there's a scientific basis for some of this stuff that they're talking about. It probably is real. I really don't know the need to know anymore. We don't need to have any more secrets. We need to stop empowering billionaires to child traffic or blood traffic or human traffic or oppress people or kill people or hire people who used to work together at nightclubs to do things and get one killed and have the other go to prison. We need to stop believing in these systems. The world is a stage. And we will never know it's true as long as we had let the people with the most jewels keep all the secrets. Water bears, Petra. I like water bears. I'm hoping to see some water bears today, Petra. I got my microscope. I'm looking at my garden. I'm looking at all my microbiology, make sure I'm set and I got everything going. I've not seen any water bears yet, but water bears are the ones that live in space. To let y'all know, they came from space. They evolved in space and they're down here. Which water bears kind of prove that whole theory, Petra, of panspermia, that we didn't come from here. Biology, microbiology, probably plants, and none of that came from here. It came from somewhere else. We were seeded either by asteroid or something else. But I have not seen a water bear yet, but they're the most cutest little things. They look like little bears with little teeth. And bears ain't cute. They'll murder you and shove you in a hole and eat you after you start decaying. But they do kind of look like bears. A very cute one because it's very, very small. What happened? Did I go to Facebook jail? Looks like everything just cut off. The rabbit hole is so deep, so much to learn and make sense. It is that, Deborah Chandler. It's so much. The rabbit hole is so deep and scary at times. And you know what? I always appreciate the warriors. Deborah Chandler is a warrior. I'm gonna let you know. When Deborah and I first met, we didn't agree. We agreed on very few things, and our swords have crossed. Deborah Chandler keeps coming back. That's what a warrior is. That's what a warrior is. You know, you hear things that bother you, and some of the way I speak, I know I got under her skin a little bit because I used to be chubby, and I've got a different take on what's happening nowadays and what we call fat shaming and whatever. And we haven't talked in a minute, but Deborah Chandler is right there and she is back. And to me, that's what a soldier is, right? You keep coming back and you keep coming back. Not say from here, but you don't give up. And when you find real passion in people, then you know they're real people. You know that they are not online people. They're not here for likes. They're not here to make friends. They are real people. And Deborah Chandler is a real person. And sister, I love you. And I know I probably hurt your feelings, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But I'm just trying to put out my world and my experiences in the way that I know how. But I appreciate you sticking around. I try as hard as I can, but there aren't any ways that I can say everything that I need to say in ways that are going to be resounding with everybody all the time. Viruses are not in the air, they're in the blood. Petra, be careful with that. That's science. That'll get you blocked on social media. I was really considering stem cells for my bad back, and then I realized how sick and barbaric it is. I'll live my arthritis. Well, Christ, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Go look it up first. Go look it up. And the reason I want you to look it up is I don't know where the stem cells originally came from, Christ, but they don't take them from babies. They don't take them from embryos. Now, the original ones might have, but it's one particular type of stem cell that they actually cultivate in petri dishes. They do not take it from babies. Do not live with pain. Go look at the research and look at the science. I forgot the doctor's name. Somebody here knows who I'm talking about. Just post a link. But they actually cultivate one particular type of stem cell and they inject it in the right area. Don't ever, agree to a life of pain and until you do your research there, right? And people say, well, but it came from embryos initially, and I don't want to be a part of that. Well, you know what? I'll think of it the same way we're thinking of George Floyd. If he's gone, he's already gone. McCain. If he's gone, he's already gone. JFK. If he's gone, he's already gone. But how do you look at if it came from an embryo? If the baby's gone, the baby's already gone. But how do you bring more meaning to the fact that they were here? I look at George Floyd and say, yep, we need to end the entire police state, the military state, and all the ideas that the state has power over people. John McCain, he lived a horrible life. He did a lot of horrible things, but I'm sure he had experiences that made his horriblism seem like it was the right thing to do, just like Hitler and any other psychopathic people who murdered millions of people. We can learn from that. We can change our behavior from that. JFK, the people who killed him got away and they seem to still be in control. We can learn from that and we can take those people out of power because they're still in power. No president ever going to do what you want them to do, nothing for the people, until you have presidents who know that they can live, and it will have citizens that will stand up for them if they actually do something for the people within the corporation. which I think is largely impossible, but I don't know everything. And babies, embryos, right? They're already gone, they're gone. But if you can ease pain all over the world from one baby stem cells that created by God, that in your body will do godly, righteous, miraculous things, then I say you bring meaning to that. Like I said, when I'm gone, I'm gone. Christ, like I said, when I'm gone, if these medicated police state take me out because I'm the new NIGGER, because I'm a hippie, because my immune system works and I'm asymptomatic, and those people come here and they want to inject some tissue on me without my consent, it's going to be a fight and I might be gone. But if I'm gone, I want my life to have some meaning. My life doesn't have any meaning if you get that cop fired. I really don't care if he's fired or not. I don't think he should be injecting people. Working with the contact tracers who also just want to put bacon on the table. But you can make my life make meaning by getting rid of the people writing the laws, or getting rid of the laws that sent it to my door to begin with. Making sure that the people write the laws are actually living by the principles of those laws, right? Making sure the people writing the laws that say you can't write a bad check aren't working with the Federal Reserve that has a fractional reserve banking, which basically is a bad check. Right? Take a life and make it make meaning. But I would say look into it. Definitely look into it. I use as guidance. Christine, what do you use as guidance? F. Rudyard Kipling. I don't know who Rudyard Kipling is. When I meditate, I find myself in a forest, a tent, and a group of other women with the same energy. Another thing, Betty, who did a good talk this morning I posted? Somehow meditation, it reactivates your immune system and does other great benefits for you. Now is probably is a time to do some meditation. Who was that? Stephen Bassett? And he was talking about like the global meditation that brought down the violence in Washington, D.C. Like imagine if we didn't act. We didn't react. We didn't do what the television wants us to do so they can have more news to report, so they can sell more papers, so the politicians could have more racism to fight and more problems to fight and more things to not solve but fight because they make a lot of money, and more leaders. What if we just stopped and say, you know what? Maybe I need to meditate. Maybe we need to get mass groups of thousands of people together to meditate for police, to meditate for politicians, to meditate for the people, the bankers, the murderers, killers, the people who run all of this, as opposed to getting out there and fighting a little, the lowest man on the totem pole because he can't really fight back. All right, raise your vibration. It's all a personal power. They will find like hearts. You gotta raise your vibration, Carolyn, no question. The towel should be mandatory. It's most amazing. It is, Christ, at a principle level. It will educate you beyond. We might have to read it here one day. To staying in balance and flowering with your divine energy. Absolutely, Christine. Everybody's a god. Everybody's a goddess. Everybody's divine. And you came from something that was more divine than what we understand. Treat everybody like it, and understand when you put a divine creature in horrible circumstances, they will become a police that abuses its citizens. They'll become a John McCain. They'll become an Obama. They'll become a Trump. They'll become all the people that we're always told to say are the bad guys, when really the bad guy is probably just the environment. It's probably just the energy. Things that we actually can fix. Simple wisdom. I think it is, Susan. I think there's very simple wisdom in there. We make things way too complex nowadays. I need to get it again, loaned my copy in Nevada and never got it back. That's okay, Belinda. You can find it online, download it. That's what I did. I downloaded the PDF. You can download it. I don't even know where I got the PDF from. Did I upload it? I might have uploaded it too on my album. I'm not sure. But just go download it so you have it, because now the Q people are talking about the power going out. I don't know how true that is. Like I said, I'm not in opposition with Q folks, and I look at what everybody's got to say and see what makes some sense. I'm on team power go out though. I am. I'm on team power go out in certain places. I don't want the power to go out for the people who are like on medical equipment that will die without it. But I'm on team, we need to tune things down a little bit. And I think if we like disconnect people and make them go outside and talk to their neighbors and go do things in the grass and with the trees and instead of, rebel rousing and have the TV telling people what to do. I think I'm okay with that. I think if you are a real person, whatever's going on is real. The only thing I don't understand from, I think Matthew is one of my Q people, is what's the date? What's the date? When the power and the internet going out? When is that blackness coming? Because the last time they said it was before my birthday was like April 3rd or 4th, and it didn't happen. And so if it's happening again, because he posted on my wall, what's it happening? Give me the date. Let me know. Let a brother know ahead of time so everybody can download the Tao Te Ching and be ready. Go out there and download it now. Announce when Gerard and Jesse Hall go live together. I must watch 2 of my favorite humans. Okay, I will do, Lori. I'm bad at that. I got to get better at that. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing, Lori. I just press the button and we get out here and we just get to talking. I had to get more professional with it, but I guess that's just based in what's possible. The problem is when you make something a job, you're never as good as it anymore. And when you take money from sponsors, like I got that Patreon, but when you take money from, and I need you to buy Survival Seeds, go buy Sharpie wipes. They're the best wipes. Now it means if Sharpie wipes becomes carcinogen, then I can't go out there and say, y'all don't ever buy no damn Sharpie wipes. They're carcinogen. I'll basically be like a mini mainstream media, and that's the problem. That's like, how do you do this without money and without time in a way where you can still be honest and say all the things you need to without anybody trying to control you? And that's the hardest part. The Patreon works because I know the people who give money to that Patreon, they're good people, and these are people that I've come in opposition with before, and they still give money on my Patreon. They still buy me cups of coffee on a regular basis and things for the garden. Which is an automated robotic garden that I'm working on, which I'll tell y'all about. I think I already told y'all about that. And so those are people who I know are passionate and they're real people. They're like sponsors who are like really in it for the game. They're not in it for them, right? But Sharpie Wipey Company, Coca-Cola, mass medical, pharmaceutical industry, So, it's like, how do you do these things and get more professional? But what I'm going to try to do, Lori, is I have to figure out a way to try to have some sort of a set up a time and let people know. All right. My times in the morning are actually going to go back to early because we're going back to slavery. The plantation is reopening back up at terrace level yellow. So very soon my videos will have to go back to starting on precise time. I did them late for people on the West Coast. And now they're going to go back, and I know Christine is happy because she's way over in Belgium. They're going to go back to being 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think next week. All right. Is a therapy that cleanses the blood too expensive? Yes, Sandra, as it's supposed to be, but it shouldn't be, right? If it saves human life, then you just do it because it's the right thing to do. Nobody should make a profit from saving lives. People should save lives because we're supposed to save lives because we are lives. We're all one and we're sentient. So there should be none of these things, but they raise the price like a brand new TV, so only the wealthy can afford it first out the gate. And plus, they don't want people to live forever. They want to go the absolute opposite direction, exactly how Bill Gates told you, is they want to depopulate. Yeah, there goes Christine. She's like, yep, I'm happy. It'll be early. It's probably like 4 a.m. Christine's time. They say there's so many tardigrades. If aliens came, they would say it's the planet of water bears and tardigrades. Which, you know what, Christ, I saw Walter around here, and you're going to get me in trouble with Walter because you're going to get me talking aliens, and I know that's what you probably was trying to do because Christ is a comedian. I'm just going to agree with you, say yes. If and when aliens ever come here, they're going to look at ants, whales, dolphins, microbes. They're going to look at the most prolific sentient life on the planet and say, that's the smart one. They're going to talk to that one. They're not going to come to us. They're not going to come to the species that bomb its own children and have police states and kill each other with police and fight each other because of our skin is different colors and dumb stuff like that. They're going to go to the sentient creatures on this, and it's going to be a bad day for us because the tardigrades ain't going to tell a good story, Christ. They're not going to tell a good story. We're going to tell on these humans. You know what these humans been up to? And not only just killing us, they're killing their damn self, and they're proud of it. And they keep begging their leaders to do more. Woo, goodness gracious. All right, last couple comments, I'm out. Gerard, they take them from the umbilical cord and human tissue. Yeah, they did originally, Lori, but if you listen to the doctor in Panama, he says that it's one that they recultivate. There's only one that he uses, and it's something that they recultivate in laboratories. They do not take them from people anymore. If somebody has a link, post it. If not, I'll post it. Medical mafia lies. That's all they can do, Lori. They have to lie because everything in nature is free. Everything in nature saves your life. Everything they make saves your life-ish. The physical, which is why healthy people are now the new N-word. And the police state came for certain people, and now the medical state's coming for everybody else because they have to break nature to make money. Are y'all still talking about stem cells? Let me get down. What about the cells of that sister that utilized without her family's knowledge? Yes, Sandra. And isn't that a thing too? What is her name? Oh my goodness. You're talking about the sister who had that cell, she had cancer and the cell was growing out of control, and they took that and they let her die. They took that, let her die, and they used that for all either granulomatosis or tumor science today, and they didn't give her a damn penny. What is her name? Somebody post her name. There are a couple documentaries on her, and they still, every hospital scientist, doctor, the pharmaceutical industry, everybody uses her cells still to this day, and they haven't given her family one dime. That's what I'm saying. This is all cronyism, Sandra. It's all insanity. None of it makes any sense. I'm ready for the whole thing to fall. It's like what was the lady in India or wherever it was? No, India. The story for Star Wars came from the Mahabharata. They stole that. There's nothing original. And the Avatar story came from that other lady, right? Or is the Matrix or Avatar? They stole that from some. Well, I don't know why. Like I said, we still abusing women. That's all we do. They're still taking it. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, you're gonna end up having me here all day. Let me get down. Let me get out of here. Yeah, they stole it. They stole it. But if you are the right person, you can break all the laws you want. You can break all the laws you want if you're the right people. And then somebody will say, yes, white people. No, leave the Moors alone. Leave the Moors, they're just light-skinned Moors. If you are the right people at the top, you can break every single law while you write laws against everybody else. Yes, Gerard comes from ancient India. Yep, Christine, and somebody wrote a book about it. Somebody wrote a long book about it. Okay, this is the Indian talk, right, the Indian talking stick. Oh, Leanna, Indian talking stick? Okay, I watched that. I don't know what that was. I thought you were posting a link to the other stuff. All right. Positive energy vibrations. Yes, Betty. All day, everywhere. Example, stop saying humans are cancer, trash. Start saying humans are beautiful beings that need love and healing. I agree, Susan. Can I modify that a little bit? Let's say that humans have a cancerous, trash-like, virus, parasitic result on the planet. But they are not the cancer. Humans are not the cancer. John McCain was not the cancer. Obama is not the cancer. The police are not the cancer. But they have cancerous results. We know we can fix all of them. We know we can fix the environment so human beings become the things they're supposed to. But we got to give more damn about the future than the profit we can get today off of slamming humans. I stopped slamming humans a long time ago, Susan. The only slam I got is slam-ish. I just say that 98% monkey, and that's usually science. The 98% monkey. I don't know why. I think it's funny, Susan. I think it's funny that we're 98% monkey and we don't like to admit it because monkeys swing through trees and they still sniff each other's butt to find out where the good food is at. I think that's funny. How's that not funny? How's that not funny to us? We go back more about 100 generations. We were all swinging in trees, fighting over bananas. And ain't nothing much changed. Ain't nothing much, because of what the media told you is that we need to go to Minneapolis, or where's it, Minnesota, wherever they are protesting, to go fight something or do something. It's kind of like we're sniffing another monkey's butt to know where to go. It's kind of rubber band-ish, based on being a huge man. Rubber band man. Kinda, not really, but kinda. It's kind of like you got to sniff out of somebody else's anus. But no, I don't downplay humans. Human beings can become amazing things. Like I said, from birth, we're all just born. We're just babies. We're all wide-eyed, goo-goo gaga, snot coming out your nose and drool coming out your mouth. What kind of world is it, Christ? What kind of world? Ooh, do I need to be Nikola Tesla? Do I need to be Einstein? Do I need to be a Martin Luther King? Ooh, I gotta help people. Ooh, we all gonna play with blocks. We gonna have free energy. We all just become pleasant. And then you show that baby, hell no, welcome to Sparta. This is Sparta. This is Fight Club, baby. You go to school, get you some grades and a job. You were born into debt. You better get out there, get on the slave plantation and get to fighting somebody. Join the team, be tribal, act ignorant, go out there and make money so then poor people ain't got no money, so you can starve them out, so you can be proud and apathetically privileged fighting for poor people in the protest, and you got food and they ain't got food because you got a better degree than they got. We break them right from birth. The neuroscientists and the psychologists tell you, and behavioral scientists, and the environment makes the people. I agree with that. I'm gonna go ahead and end up on Susan's comment. The environment makes the people. The environment makes the people. You are either, if you want change, if you want to change any damn thing, you gotta stop blaming people, stop blaming groups, stop blaming skin, stop blaming nations, stop blaming religion, stop blaming all the ignorant stuff that they gave you so that you wouldn't change any damn thing. You'd be in conflict with each other, not the system, and actually start fighting to free the people by creating an ecosystem that lets human beings become human beings. That's all you got to do. Effectively, I basically said that you got to have the smarts of a 14-year-old that works in a daycare. That's what you need. You need to have the smarts of a 14-year-old kid who just wants to take care of children. Make them happy, let them have everything they want. Feed everybody equally at lunch. They got the milk and cookies for Jonathan, milk and cookies for Christine, milk and cookies for Lori, milk and cookies for Jennifer, milk and cookies for Mark. Everybody's got equality. Don't let them fight over the toys. Make sure everybody got the free energy and the toys and the things that they need. And all the kids are happy. At 14 years old, these little girls know how to run daycares. But your damn politicians at 60, 50, 70, 80, some of them can't even walk and chew bubble gum and tap the head at the same time. Remember what they said 5 minutes ago. But they don't know how to make happiness or do that. Do that. Maybe the job isn't happiness. Maybe the job is conflict. Maybe the job is making a jungle so that every time a baby is born, they don't hear music and Mozart and nice bubbly things in nature. They hear, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. It ain't no fun, but it is a game. And I'm sorry for anybody who had their volume up and I did that to you. I gotta go. Free the people. Y'all have a wonderful day. This is Pat Riley taking us out. Love y'all. Actually have a good weekend this time. Today is actually Friday, unlike yesterday, which was largely Thursday in popular opinion. And somebody today ain't Friday. Nope, ain't nobody tell me. One person told me everybody can get 2 dams. Y'all treated me like my name was that dude on The Office where they made him think it was Friday. So he went off and did Friday things, but he was really supposed to be doing Thursday things. Anyway, I had to go. Y'all have a great day. It's Gerard. Love y'all to death. Bye. Free the people. Do you wanna free the people and Mother Nature too?